All right. So for practice, you will need 1 or 2 blocks, a strap nearby. You might need that for 1 or 2 shapes. And then we'll start on our backs. So I'm going to guide in just a minute, but the invitation to you is to just move from conceptual thinking, this is how yoga is supposed to look or be or anything, and move into a felt sense, into your body, drop into feeling your body, sensing where you might have a little tightness or a little stickiness, and just drop, continue to drop like a pebble in the water. And then stretch your legs long, stretch your arms overhead. And just like the animals waking up from winter or from a cozy night's sleep, invoke a yawn and try to have that pendiculation where, oh, your body just does what it does. It just wants to move from the inside out. So maybe it's just stretching the feet long, the legs away, the arms away, or maybe you invite a little back bend here. Just begin to wake up your body. And then we'll bend the knees, take the soles of the feet to the floor. So we're going to start with some small movements and work up to bigger movements and then go back down. Okay, so soles of the feet to the floor. And then as you bring your knees left and right, make sure that the soles of your feet stay on the floor. So it's a very subtle movement. It's very small. And we're using what we call a constraint from the somatics work. Just right and left, soles of the feet, stay on the floor. Maybe you don't even go to your end range to begin with. And then as you continue to go back and forth with the knees, now you can pick the soles of the feet up so that you're coming to rest on outer edge of one foot, inner edge of the other. So back and forth. Now the movement is quite a bit bigger. Exploring in the low back, the pelvis. It will help to close your eyes and feel this from the inside out. We're not in a hurry. And nature teaches us that, of course, all the time. We're not in a hurry. It always happens. It'll happen. And then come back and pick your feet up and stack your knees over your hips and begin to bring your knees back and forth, not allowing them quite to go to the floor, and then allowing them to go to the floor and allow your arm, your hand to come across so you're all the way on your side, and then inhale and sweep back to the other side. So now this big movement back and forth, knees come together, hands come together. Let your head roll to the side, that the knees are going, that the hands are going. Just really take up a lot of space here. And then keep the arms out in a T and let the knees continue to move. So knees are still stacked over hips, feet are lifted, and back and forth now. And then from here, soles of the feet back to the floor, knees back and forth. One edge of the foot contacts inner or outer. You can lift the soles of the feet as you move your knees back and forth. And then from here, soles of the feet stay on the floor, knees back and forth. Great. Then come to some silence or some stillness. And you can rest your knees together here and take one full breath. Great. Now shift to the upper body for a little bit. So you could leave your knees resting together or separate them or take them long, your legs long on the mat, but interlace your hands now right above your heart space, right above your chest, and then press your palms up towards the ceiling and reach your arms behind your head, any amount, and back up, and turn the palms back to you and just bring your hands back to your heart. And then turn the palms up towards the ceiling, reach the arms behind, back up towards the ceiling, and then as if you're like going to gather something up, you turn the palms back towards your chest and let your hands come down to your chest. Okay, a few more times. Palms away, arms overhead, back up, and return. One more time through the full cycle here. Good. Yeah, and then bring opposite hand to opposite elbow or wrist if it doesn't quite, you can't quite get your hands to your elbows. And then just bring your elbows to one side, to the right, and then to the left. Feel a little stretch behind one shoulder as you go back and forth. And again, you can go to end limit, your end range, or you could stay within the boundary of not going to the end range and feel how that might be different. Great, then bring your arms right above your chest and now lift your feet again and stack your knees over your hips. Great, okay. Now knees to the right and elbows to the left. Back to center, knees to the left, elbows to the right. And back to center. And just go back and forth in this way a few times. Working the obliques, my head wants to go in the direction of my elbows, so I'm just going to let it do that. Good, then you can come back to center, release the arms, but keep the knees over the hips, feet lifted, and tap right toes, left toes, right toes, left toes, just back and forth. Feel the core working to come awake here. We have a wake up theme. Good. After 6 or so on each side, then tap the heels. Alternating right and left. And after about 6 on both sides, take your feet back to the floor, slide your legs long, reach through your heels, pulsing one heel and then the other, releasing any tension in the front of the thigh, the front of the hip, what we commonly call the hip flexor area. All right. Good. And then bend your right knee and take your right foot to the floor. Leave your left leg long. Take an inhale here, and then on your exhale, lift your left leg about 30 degrees. And then inhale, long inhale as you lower the leg back to the floor. And exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. And if you find your breath goes in the alternate direction, that's fine. I like the exhale for the sort of power lift, and then the inhale to come back down. Okay. So a few more here. And then the next time you lift the leg, lift it all the way up towards the ceiling. So you're in a 90 degrees with that leg, and then take it out to the left, either with a strap or resting on a block or resting on your hand. Take it out to the left. And you might just play around with a little movement towards your head and away from your head. If your foot comes all the way to the floor, you can take a little movement by sliding your foot along the floor. And then inhale that leg back up to center, come across midline. You have to straighten the right leg now as you come across midline with your left leg getting a nice twist. And we'll hold that for one full breath. Inhale back to extend it up towards the ceiling, and then right foot comes to the floor, left leg is already long, and we go to the other side. So on your next exhale, lift your right leg 30 degrees or so. Inhale, a nice long inhale to come to the floor. Exhale. Inhale. And somewhere between 6 and 10 repetitions. Remembering that we can toggle back and forth between this sort of more energetic, like the birds in flight and going all over, right? Or we can toggle with some more, we don't quite go to our end range. We don't have to be completely exhausted. And we're finding this nice balance here in our practice. The next time you lift the leg, come all the way up towards the ceiling, and then a leg out to the right. One more full breath as you reach out to the right. Supta Pada Gustasana. Variation. And then we inhale, bring the right leg up towards the ceiling, lengthen through the left leg and come across in your midline in a big twist. Right leg across midline towards the left, either all the way to the floor if you're ready for that, or you can make a little kickstand with your left arm and rest your leg there on your arm, on your hand. Great, then inhale, come back up, and then take both feet to the soles of both feet to the floor again. Bring your arms alongside your waist, and then just press up into a bridge. Not doesn't have to be your full, hardest, biggest bridge. Just press your hips up and draw your knees towards the bottom short end of your mat, so you feel some length in the front of the thighs. Great, there we go. And then just roll down one vertebra at a time as you come back to the floor. One vertebra at a time. See if you can articulate through each one of your vertebrae all the way down. What happens in the low back? Can you just try to get one at a time down onto the floor? Good, now you come to the floor, hips resting on the floor, hands alongside your body. And then just articulate the pelvic tilting. So inhale to draw your navel, your pubic bone away from navel, arching away from the floor slightly. And exhale, press low back into the floor. pubic bone towards navel. And you could start with this really small movement, really hardly noticeable. If someone walked in the room, they wouldn't see you moving at all. And then as you make the movement bigger and bigger, where is the follow through in your spine? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Where's the follow through as you continue this anterior posterior tilting? For me, I can feel this all the way through my spine, up into my cervical spine, my neck. My head wants to move as I make my arching a little bit bigger. My head moves along with. And then from this bigger movement, can you go back down, sort of making the movement smaller again as we go down. Back to where we started. Good, then bring both knees into your chest, cross at the ankles, squeeze best you can. And if you can't reach for whatever reason, if you can't reach the front of your knees comfortably, put a strap around the front of your legs and just pull in with the strap. And then rock side to side. Kind of landing on one kidney space and then the other. And then rock all the way to one side, press yourself up. We'll come to table now. Come to table. And you can begin just some cat-cows without any intentional anything. Just cat-cow in a way that you know how. And then I'll instruct here in just a little bit. So come to a neutral spine and begin this action in thoracic, in your upper back. So start to draw shoulder blades in towards one another. And down your back, and then press shoulder blades away from one another. And then draw shoulder blades in towards one another. So there's really just movement in the thoracic spine, your upper back. Great. And then start to really make that a bigger movement. And see where the follow through is initially in your body. Is it down into your low back, in your pelvis? Is it up in your cervical spine? Good. Now, no more constraint. Let it totally go into a big cat-cow. Great. And then the next time that you press your back up towards the ceiling in the cat pose and round your back, take your knees back slightly, drop onto your forearms. So you're just hovering your hips back towards your heels on your forearms, and then slide your hips right and left, gliding through space, moving hips right, moving hips left. What's the follow through into your spine? How does the spine respond? And then instead of just gliding right and left, start to circle. So there'll be some movement in your shoulders as well as you come forward to circle and back. Circling your hips. Take it in the other direction. Beautiful, good. Then press yourself back to the table. Inhale your right leg out behind you. And then exhale, just draw your right knee into your chest. And inhale, reach out with the right leg. Exhale, bend through your right knee, bring your right knee into your chest. You can add the left arm if you'd like to. It's up to you. And continue this little pattern. The next time your right leg is extended out behind you, sweep it out to the right, take the sole of your foot to the floor and reach your hips back towards your heels. Forearms come to the floor, reaching, feeling the inside seam of the right leg. And then inhale, come back to table, back onto your hands, inhale. The right leg comes out behind you again, and then take it over to the left side of your mat. Turn your toes under and take your gaze over your left shoulder, looking over at your right foot there. Feel a twist through the whole spinal column. Release that, bring your right knee back underneath your hips. Take 2 rounds of cat-cow. Take 2 rounds of cat-cow. And then inhale, reach the left leg long. Exhale, draw it into your chest. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. The next time you inhale the left leg long, sweep it out to the left, sole of your foot to the floor, drop to your forearms, reach your hips back towards your heels. You'll feel the inside seam of your left leg, sensation there. And then inhale to come back up. Reach the left leg long again, and then take it to the outside of your right leg. Turn your toes under, and you can pulse here or just work with stretching the hamstring. Look over your right shoulder so you get a little twist action happening. A little contraction of the right side waist. And then come back, take your left knee underneath your hips and do a couple rounds of cat-cow. The next time you press up into cat, reach your hips back towards your heels. You can always put something between your thighs and your calves and come into child's pose. I'm playing around with having my forearms bent here, my elbows bent and my forearms on the floor. And you could even have a block here for your forehead. Okay, so just feel into what feels nice to you. On the next inhale, we're gonna lift our body off our legs and reach our arms out to the sides like we're flying. And then exhale back down. Inhale, just reach your body off your legs like you're flying. And then come back down. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Next time you inhale, come all the way up to standing on your knees. Reach your fingertips down towards the floor, palms forward in Tadasana. So it's Tadasana on the knees. And then inhale, sweep your arms up. So we want to take the arms out, turn palms up, palms face one another. And then as we come back, we're going to fold at the waist and turn the palms away and tuck the hands right at the low back as we fold. So the shoulders going through its whole full range of motion. Inhale, stand up on your knees, turn palms up, palms face one another above your head. And then exhale, press palms away and fold and bring your hands to your low back. Resting on your low back with the palms out. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, fold. One more time, changing the orientation of your hands each time. And next time you reach up towards the ceiling, fingertips reaching, low ribs in. Exhale now and bring your hands forward. Coming into a sort of a child's pose, but arms are forward. You're lifted off your heels and then press into table once more. Good. Turn toes under. Lift your knees off the floor about 2 inches. The pounce, this is the pounce. And then on your exhale, draw your hips back, straighten your legs, come into downward facing dog. Inhale, rock forward, hover your knees. Exhale, press back, reach back with the hips, straighten the legs, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to hover the knees. Strong in the arms, press the floor away, then draw your hips back, straighten your legs. Downward facing dog. Couple more times, you will come forward, hover the knees in the pounce, and then press yourself back, hips reach back, and then extend the legs, downward facing dog. Good. And from here, walk your feet up towards your hands. Take your block or blocks and come into a halfway lift. And then bending your knees. Let's have our feet as wide as the hips, come into a fold with hands on blocks or floor. So you're connected and your knees are deeply bent here, deeply bent, and you're in a fold. Great, then we'll release your hands to the tops of your feet, climbing up to your thighs, just right by the knees. We're in a Utkatasana variation with hands on knees. And then slowly, slowly, slowly straighten up and come into Tadasana. Great. Bounce the heels. Walk around your space. Bounce the heels, walk around your space. Get your 2 blocks, one on either side of the back edge of your mat. And we'll take a wide stance here. So we'll flow through some standing postures. So let's begin with right foot forward and left heel out. And then with hands on hips, just bend into your front knee and find your warrior two legs. So what I really would like you to sense is that as you bend through the front knee, you press into the back heel. And that's the warrior 2 legs. Press into the back heel as you bend through the front leg. Press into the back heel as you bend through the front leg. Inhale to straighten back up. Okay, and then this next time you land, reach the arms out. Warrior 2. Now what happens with that engagement in the back heel? Keep that engagement in the back heel. Then inhale, turn the front hand, reach forward. Exhale, come back, exalted warrior. Inhale, sweep the hand forward. Exhale, come down onto forearm to front thigh, or hand to the outside of your foot onto the block in extended side angle. Then inhale, sweep back, warrior two. Exhale, ground the back heel. Inhale, reach the front hand. Exhale, come back, exalted warrior. Inhale, sweep the front arm forward. Exhale, either forearm to thigh or hand to the block, extended side angle. Keep your shoulder out of your ear. Inhale, sweep warrior two. Exhale, ground. Inhale, reach the hand forward. Exhale, come back, exalted warrior. Inhale, sweep forward. Exhale, extended side angle. And from this extended side angle, simply straighten the front leg. Hand gets released, comes to your shin, your ankle, over the block on the outside of your front leg, and then stack your shoulders, triangle. We'll take 3 rounds of breath in triangle. Keep your back heel engaged. Keep your the front foot, big toe mound engaged as you externally rotate the front thigh. Great. And then bending through the front knee, sweep yourself back, warrior two. Then inhale, straighten the front leg, turn both feet to be parallel to one another, hands above your head. And then exhale, right through heart center, reach fingertips down towards the floor, tuck shoulder blades onto your back, close your eyes and feel. Very good. Then we turn the left foot out, lines up with the long edge of the mat, right heel comes out, hands to hips, find your warrior two legs on this side. So we really, in general, don't want the front knee to come forward of the front ankle. It can be behind. You don't have to have a deep stance here. More important is really feeling the back heel engaged. So the legs are working together. Reach the arms out, warrior two. Inhale, reach forward with the front hand, turn the palm up. Exhale, come back, exalted warrior. Inhale, sweep forward. Exhale, come down onto your forearm or block on the outside of the front foot, extended side angle. I'll show both. Inhale, sweep back into warrior two. Exhale, ground the back heel. Inhale, sweep the front hand. Exhale, extended or exalted warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, forearm to the thigh or to hand to a block, extended side angle. Inhale, sweep up, warrior two. Exhale, ground the back heel. Inhale, sweep hand forward, front hand forward, exhale. Exalted warrior. Inhale, sweep forward. Exhale, find your block or come to your thigh. Good. If you're on your thigh, start to just straighten your leg till your hand slips off. And if you're with a block, I just tuck mine back just a little bit so it's lined up with my lower leg. Come to Trikonasana. What's happened with the back heel? Keep the back heel engaged and the front toe, big toe mound presses in while you externally rotate the front thigh for 2 more rounds of breath. Good. On your next inhale, bend through your front leg and sweep back to warrior two. Ground the back heel. Then press into both feet, extend both legs, turn both feet to be parallel, hands above your head. Ooh, release hands to heart center. Then down to your sides, palms forward, reach your fingertips towards the floor in this wide stance Tadasana. Close your eyes and feel your body. Just feel. Just notice the sensation. Good. Then reach, hands to hips, reach through the crown of your head. You might want to grab a block. We're going to go into a fold here, but we'll fold forward, coming down nice and slowly, keeping our hips back over the heels, and just come down. I am going to take my blocks in front and come down into a fold supported with the blocks. So hips, reach back, and then you can play around with the position of your blocks. Let's inhale to halfway lift. Now, what's happening with the legs? Really pull the kneecaps up and isometrically draw the feet towards one another, and then exhale to fold. And then inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale to fold. And one more time, we'll inhale to halfway lift. And then from this halfway lift, heel toe the feet together until you're in a halfway lift with the feet more hip distance apart. Okay? And now you probably you could change the orientation on your mat. I just did that. So my blocks are at the front of the mat and I'm in a halfway lift. Good. Okay, inhale, let's lift the right leg out behind us. So variation of warrior three. And exhale, we're gonna round through our back and bring that knee into our chest. And inhale, sweep the leg out. And exhale, round and bring the knee into the chest. There could be a little bend in the standing leg. Inhale, sweep the right leg out. And then exhale, this time, just bring your right foot sort of between the blocks. Maybe not all the way, but a short pyramid, and then fold into this pyramid. And your fold might look like just tucking your chin into your chest. Draw the right hip back. Right, bend both feet back. Bend through your knees. Keep your hands on your hips as you bend through your knees. Reach your hips back. Stretching through your outer armpit. Like you're hanging on to something with the blocks. You just reach the hips back. And then come into a halfway lift. Inhale the left leg. Exhale, round your back, bring your knee into your chest. Inhale, sweep the left leg out long behind you. Variation on warrior three. And bring your knee into your chest. Inhale, reach it out, left leg. And then bring your left foot forward. My toes are kind of lined up with the block, the edge of the block that's closest to me, and I'm in the pyramid shape, and I'm going to bow here. Folding here, draw the left hip back. 2 more rounds of breath. Keep the legs engaged. Right. And then left foot back. Let's take the feet a little wider now, as wide as the edge of your mat. Bend through your knees, reach your hips back, hold onto the blocks or rest your hands on the blocks as you reach the hips back. Feeling a stretch on the outer underarm. And then press back to a halfway lift. Bring the right foot forward, step the left foot back. You can keep your hands on the blocks or go to the floor or change the level of the blocks at any time. So right foot forward, left foot back, toes turned under in a lunge. Leave the left hand where it is and inhale, sweep the right arm up and come into a twist. Exhale, release down. Take your right foot back to your left foot so you're in a high plank. Drop your hips towards the floor, come into a variation of upward facing dog. Press back to down dog. Walk your feet forward, halfway lift. Bring the right foot forward, bring the left foot back. You're in the lunge. Right foot is forward or left foot is forward between the blocks. Right foot back. Leave your right hand on the blocks. Inhale, sweep up with the left arm. Come into a twist. Exhale, release that hand back. Step back, high plank. Rock forward, let your hips come towards the floor, sort of a modified upward facing dog. Press back, downward facing dog. And walk your feet towards your hands so that you can come into a halfway lift, L shape with the body. Great. For one full breath here. Then bend through your knees. Your hands are still on the blocks. You reach the hips back, and then we're going to release the hands. Bring the arms out in front. Utkatasana. Utkatasana. 3 rounds of breath. Slowly press up. Hands down to your sides. Reach your fingertips towards the floor. Tadasana. Pull kneecaps up, up, up. Good. And then release any effort in the legs and bounce the heels. Bounce the heels. Let the shoulders go. See if it all can bounce. You can get it all going. Shake the legs. Good. Okay. Now we're going to do the eagle Garudasana with the block. So if you don't have a block, it won't matter, but this is just a nice way of working the legs and maybe adding the arms, but not having it be a balance issue. So set your block beside your left foot. Bend through your knees and cross your right leg over your left, squeezing, just touch your right foot to the block. Right toes touch the block. There's our eagle leg squeezing. You could stay right here and squeeze. Keep the back of your head lined up with your sacrum. So spine is tall. You could also add the arms, either just keeping these big like wings out here, or wrapping the right arm underneath the left and just taking opposite sides of your torso. Keep growing up through your crown of your head for 3, 2, 1. Release the arms, release the legs, bounce the heels. Bounce the hips. Let the shoulders go. Good. Shake out the legs, and we'll come to the other side. All right, so block to the right, outside of the right foot. Bending through your knees. Bring your left leg over your right, squeezing the legs. You know, the knees will be offset a little bit to the right. That's fine. Let your left foot rest on the block. Squeeze the legs together. Then arms out. Okay, you can stay right here. Or take left arm underneath right, taking opposite sides of your torso and squeezing everything to midline. Squeezing everything to midline. For 3, 2, 1, release the arms, release the legs, bounce the heels, bounce the hips, Shake the legs out. Let the upper body bounce out. Come to the top of your mat. In Tadasana. And inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, come through center, taking hands to the floor and step or jump back to downward facing dog. Take the right arm and lift it. Take the left arm and lift it. Take the right leg and lift it. Take the left leg and lift it. Press back. Length through your arms, really push the floor away. Bend through your knees. Bounce your heels here. Bounce your heels. Where does this follow through? And an inhale to cow. Exhale, set your hips back towards child's pose. Inhale, back up to cow. Reach the right arm up and take it underneath the left arm in a twist. Slide the right arm up and back. Up, and then right hand to the floor. Inhale the left arm up. Take it underneath the right arm, slide it over, come into a twist. Next inhale, sweep the left arm back up. And set your hand back down to the floor. Turn toes under. Rock your body back and forth. Rock your hips, shoulders. And then when the next time you're bringing your hips back towards your heels, press into your toes, lift, downward facing dog. And then come forward to high plank. Great, then lower knees, chest, chin to the floor. Keep your hands where they are beside your low ribs and lift your legs and release. And lift your legs and release. And lift your legs and release. Take your hands, make a little pillow, rest your forehead on the pillow, rock your hips back and forth, or bend your knees and let your feet move back and forth. Windshield wipers on the tummy here. And then inhale, press into your forearms and lift. And exhale, release. And inhale, press into your forearms and lift. And exhale, release. Okay. Just a few more rounds of that. If you're up for it or you want to, you can lift the upper body and then lift the legs. But you could also just do the upper body here. And then the next time you're lifted, just slide one arm underneath so that you can roll over onto your back. Okay, so roll over onto your back and stack your knees again over your hips. And take that big action where you're going all the way from one side to the other. Knees come over and stack, hands, one hand stacks on top of the other all the way. Big, big movement. Then the arms quiet and it's just the knees going back and forth. Feet are off the floor. Then the feet come back down to the floor. You allow the whole range of motion. So you pick up one edge of each foot as you move back and forth. That's it, yep. And then the soles of the feet stay on the floor. Knees back and forth. And then come back to center or to quiet. And now wrap your right leg over your left, just like we just did in the eagle. So right leg on top of left, squeeze the thighs together. Keep your left foot firmly on the floor as you pulse your knees over to the right, back to center, excuse me, over to the right, back to center. So it's just a pulsing. It's a very subtle movement. The sole of your left foot staying on the floor. Staying on the floor. Just see if you can kind of tease or feather your knee over towards the right. I'm hardly moving any distance at all. Then slide your right ankle onto your left knee, figure 4. Without using your hands, just bring your knees into your chest, circle the feet. Both directions. Draw navel up towards the midline here. Good, then release both feet back to the floor. Now left leg over top of right. Squeeze the legs here. About 30% effort, squeeze them. And then you just feather over to the left slightly. Feather over as you reach over to the left, but the sole of your right foot stays on the floor. Doesn't come up at all. This is a constraint. And we're just working in a little different space to release some tension. And cool ourselves down. And then you slide the left ankle onto your right knee. Good. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Reaching low back towards the floor, navel towards the midline, and then you can circle your feet here. And then right foot comes back to the floor, left foot to the floor. Now choice, yogi's choice. If you wanted to go up into a bridge or 2, or some rolling cascading bridge, that might feel quite nice. You could do a happy baby or happy baby variation here. If you want to scoot over to some wall space, put legs up the wall. Take another twist of your choice. Just find a way to really come back to this more settled feeling in our bodies. Settled mind, settled body, getting ready to drop completely into your final Shavasana. Getting ready to drop completely into final Shavasana. So we'll be in final Shavasana for 3 to 4 minutes. So get whatever you need for that, a blanket or your socks. And begin just to go through your body. Once again, noticing any place where you might be holding. Scanning through legs, arms. Releasing your back body into the floor. And then soften your hands. Feeling your hands from the inside out. Soften your hands even more. Soften your throat. Release your jaw. So teeth are not touching. Lips can be barely touching. And just pull up the corners of your mouth slightly, putting a smile on your face. Release any tension around your eyes, softening the space between your eyes. Soften your eyelashes, your eyelids. And allow the skin on your face to be smooth and relaxed. I invite you to look into your heart, perhaps touching your heart space with a hand or two hands, but just look into your heart and with a curiosity of what you might awaken today, what might be calling you to wake. Wake up to, step into, create differently in your life. What might be an awakening for you? And remain in your Shavasana as long as you want. At any time, if you'd like to roll to one side for a few breaths or come up to a seat, you can. I'm just going to close us with a round of Ohms. Om. Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace to all beings. Namaste.